I'm 28 years old and I didn't think I would end up where I am today in my life. And there's a few mistakes that I made kind of along the way, and that's why I ended up here. When I was about 16 or 17 years old, around that time period, most of the people around me were applying for university, college, or jobs. So I kind of didn't know what to do with my life. So the first thing that I did was just go for a college course that I had small interest in, but long term, I kind of knew I wasn't going to stick to it. So eventually I did it, and then I ended up dropping out about 2 weeks before the course ended. And I moved to a bigger city. When you're young, the first thing kind of you think about is moving out, having your own place so you can sort of feel independent. So that's what I did. I visualized my life, what it would look like in the next 10 years. So the best move that I could make was to move out and kind of chase success. And what I ended up doing was a bunch of different jobs. College was finished now, so I went into construction, retail, and I never really stayed too long in a job. So I would spend a year here, then go to the next job, and I would probably gather all this experience while living alone. And it was difficult because you need to motivate yourself. And when you don't have interest in something that you're working in, I know everybody has to work, but when you're doing crazy amount of hours and it's day to day and you don't enjoy it, it can become difficult. So I did that for many years. And then COVID came along, and that was quite difficult. I put on so much weight. I stopped going to the gym, and eventually bad habits came back. And I was in a job that I was quite unhappy with and I didn't really like, but I stayed there kind of for the money. And eventually I ended up losing the job and having no kind of backup. So I had to move in back with my mum, and I ended up in this position that I am right now. And I know there are a few key lessons that you can learn while living alone, but I don't think when you're young, you think it's the best thing ever, but you don't expect how difficult it can be to pay the bills, to have your own car, and you kind of have this visualization of what your life would look like. And sometimes life can take a very weird turn and go in a completely different direction, and you never expected it to. So back then, I didn't expect where I am now, but there were lessons that I still keep with me today. And, that's your health is wealth. Always prioritize your health. Don't take it, if it goes today, it's gone. And then you're in a very difficult position. And procrastination was a big thing that I struggle with, and I still struggle with to this day, that I procrastinate a lot. Um, and I need to kind of get out of the habit of just staying on my phone or just watching TV and just go out there, whether it's going to the gym, working out, or doing something outdoors, and just putting myself out there instead of just sitting and doing nothing. There are a few bad habits that would affect me along the way, but eventually I am trying my best to kind of work my way back to the best version of me. And I know it's no one to blame but myself to why I'm still living at home with my parents. And I need to kind of get out of this position. So I am applying for jobs. I am putting myself out there. So fingers crossed that I do get somewhere and I'm able to take those steps back. But yeah, I didn't expect to be here. I thought by 28 I'd probably have it figured out by now, and that's very far from the truth. And I don't even want to think about the future because it's a very scary thing to think about. It's probably only me that thinks about these things, but I don't want to think about the next 10 years because that could freak me out. So I just want to focus on today. So this may sound like a rant. Um, I may or may not upload this, I don't know. But that's how essentially I became a 20-year-old loser, you know, still living at home. And eventually I want to kind of get myself out there and, you know, get back on the train, get back on the saddle. And, you know, I think life moves so quickly and time goes by so fast. I used to hate it when people would tell me that 10 years fly by, and they actually do. I can still remember kind of leaving home and doing the jobs when I was younger and thinking, oh my God, what am I going to do with my life? This is terrifying. But hey, you kind of learn along the way. There's no failures, there's only lessons. And yeah, this is it. I just wanted to share my story of how I ended up in this position. Um, Back to kind of square one, I feel like. But hey, I'm going to have to restart somehow. So yeah, well, thank you if you watched this video.